skydiving. This is amazing.
Yeah, but you know what else is amazing? An iPhone 6S for just $49 at Metro.
Really?
Imagine streaming all the way down with that amazing camera.
I'm switching. That's smart.
You know what else is smart? Parachutes.
Woo!
Switch to Metro and get an amazing iPhone 6S for only $49. Metro by T-Mobile. Phone offer requires port-in of number not currently active on T-Mobile network or active on Metro in past 90 days. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us here at Blog Talk Radio, Mind, Body, and Soul Connections. I'm sorry. I just want to say welcome, and it's been a beautiful day. A little cold out here in the east, in the west, but all is well. I want to say that since last week, a lot of good things have been happening. I'm sure not just for myself, but for everyone. I don't know if people are into, checking out the full moon. It's been a powerful full moon that we just had. I just want to leave you with that. I want to welcome you again. I want to welcome Sherry Hollis. Also today, our topic for the show will be the change that you wish to see in the world. And we know this was a comment that Mahatma Gandhi had said. And this should be a very interesting talk. Sherry, are you there? Hello,
yes,
Sherry.
Yes, I am. Hi, Nancy. How's it going?
It's going really good. Like I said, I'm very excited. I'm into a little bit of astrology here, so I was telling everyone, about the moon here. It's been an awesome day. I don't know, people believe in different things. But yeah, everything is good. I'm excited. So a lot of new happening, a lot of new coming in, We're at the end of a year and into a new year coming very soon. So I'm just looking forward to a lot of great things.
Yeah, things didn't really start to get better for me until I realized that it's really up to us, and just understanding that we get to choose. It's really a choice as to what we have in our lives. In light of that, guys, we will be talking about be the change that you wish to see in the world. And for any of our listeners who were with us from the beginning, initially, just about 2 years ago, in February, it will make 2 years that we started the program, the show, blogtalkradio.com. And we started out with this premise that the theme of the show is that we all should be the change that we wish to see in the world. I remember so many times in my life saying to myself, wow, it would sure be nice if we lived in a better world. It would sure be nice if this were better, if that were better. You know how we do. We talk about it all the time. Wow, the world would be such a much better place to live in if this or if that. But how many of us really understand that it's up to us to be the change that we wish to see in the world? How many of us recognize that? We talk about how bad the world can be. We say how there's so many improvements that could be made. So many wars going on. There's crime, there's drugs, there's gangs, there's abuse, a falling and failing educational system, a demonic political system, all kinds of conspiracies. There's disease, there's insanity. Guys, we could go on forever. But the question I'm raising this evening is, who will shoulder the responsibility of change? Who will shoulder the responsibility of change? Maybe you're confused at how to do that. So hopefully, before the show is over, you'll get closer to understanding how to do that. The first step, I realized, is that you must raise your awareness. You must raise your awareness of the issues that the world faces. At Mind, Body, and Soul Connections, we take you through the inner dynamics of your mind to show you that you must be willing to shoulder the responsibility of being the change that you wish to see in the world. Each individual must do their part. There's a saying that goes like this: you either are part of the problem or part of the solution. which role will you play? Because there's plenty of work to be done, especially when I gave you a list of things that need to change in the world. Think about it, guys. When you think about change in the world, what would you like to see? What are the improvements you would like made in the world? And what does a nation or a world need? Aside from the general things that we know, like doctors and lawyers and nurses and scientists and architects, construction workers, agriculturalists, preservationists, nature preservationists, animal preservationists, speakers of truth, healers of all sorts, metaphysicians, astronomers, astrologers. That seems to be common knowledge that we need those things to make the world a better place. But what I'm saying here is that it goes a lot deeper than that, guys. In order to be the change that you wish to see in the world, you must start with yourself first. You must spread your efforts to your community. Where do you live right now? What do you see right now that needs to change? Are you waiting for someone else to make that change? Or are you recognizing and understanding that it is your job to make that change? There's all kinds of things that we could be doing, and I'm sure there are all kinds of things that we are good at. But guys, you can't be all over the place with this. Okay, you can make changes, where you're at. But what I'm saying is that when you begin with yourself and you start to develop yourself, you start to realize that you have a purpose. And your purpose is specific, meaning that you came here to do something specific. To be the change that you wish to see in the world, you have to be that change as a living example. So as you're cleaning yourself up, you have to help to clean the world up. You must constantly be a work in progress. Ultimately, in your individual world, you must become the change that you'd like to see in the world. That means be a better person, a better sister, a better friend, better brother, cousin, teacher, husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, mom, dad, co-worker. The list goes on, guys. Have you guys ever heard of the New World Order? A lot of people are talking about it, the New World Order. You have the Bilderbergers with their New World Order. which is part of the 10% that's ruling the world. You have the international bankers. Everyone seems to be talking about this new world order. You even have the churches talking about a new world order. My question is, what world do you want to be a part of instituting? Everyone's agenda isn't to make improvements. And just as some of us guys are making improvements, you have to understand that there is a force that is looking to tear down anything of good. They run the government, the educational system, they run the media, they even run the common man and woman. So these forces are very wise. And they are betting on your not making it, on you ending up in the penal system, which is another form of slavery, I might add, or betting on you're using drugs, you're abusing others, falling into the traps that they laid for you. So another question that I'm raising is, with all this that seems to be against you, how, in the midst of all of this, can you be the change that you wish to see in the world? So those are the things that I'm raising this evening. Those are the things that I'm starting with so that we could have something to work with. And you can jump in. And I'm going to go ahead and open up the line so that you can jump in. And we'll see where we're going to take this, guys. So let me give you that call-in number to call in. You can call in at 215-383-3903. That's 215-383-3903. And we can talk about this here a little bit further. What do you think about what I threw out there? And what do you think about me talking about every individual must shoulder the responsibility of cleaning up the world? How do you feel about that? And that means anyone. Anyone can jump in.
Right,
and did
Sherry,
you really
like
know and understand that it was up to you to make that change?
Right. Well, what I want to say, I know that many people have on their mind, wow, that sounds like a big task, you know? And it is a big task because
It really is.
One or two people cannot do it. You know, it's got to be
right.
It's got to be everyone because I like what Andy had said. I don't know if anybody has read his comment, but I printed out what he had to say, and it is truly amazing what he has said. You know, that we have the power with it. Well, can I read some of it?
Of course you can. I'm sure our audience would love to hear it.
Right. Well, Gandhi has said to be the change that you wish to see in the world, right? He says you have the power within you to create the life you want to live. You have the power to shape the world around you just by who you are being and how you are communicating. It talks about the law of attraction, one of the fundamentals and aspects of living a life by design. It explains that everything that is created is the outside world, is the result of what takes place internally. And we've talked about that before. Sherry,
absolutely.
You've had talks on this before. But then he goes on to say that being the change you wish to see in the world starts with taking full responsibility for everything that is happening in your life. And then he brought out that he said that the first law of supreme influences states, I create my reality. And creating your life by design means taking full ownership and total personal accountability for where you are right now. And by accepting you are fully at cause for your life, you access the wisdom to recognize how your moment-to-moment thoughts, words, and action creates the results you experience. That's powerful for those who don't quite understand that.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, I'm not done. But then he goes on to say, each of us is the author and the architect of results we experience. Every thought we have, words we speak, whether to ourselves out loud, and the action that is taken is like planting a seed that will germinate and grow when the appropriate conditions are present. Like farmers carefully planting the next harvest, we reap an effect of having sowed the seeds of past thoughts and behaviors. So there is no idling thoughts. Everything we see and everything we experience has its own origin and cause in the realm of thought. Understanding this phenomena is the beginning of true wisdom. I'm not done, but these are his words. So once we get to listen to this a little bit more and really give it some thought, maybe we can truly understand or overstand, and then see how we can apply this and how does it affect us, and how changes can come along. Right. And it's going to take time because it's not going to happen overnight either. Because everything that was created didn't happen overnight. But it's like a seed, like he said. A farmer plants a seed and it takes time. Right? When you see plant a seed, you can sit there and you can watch it grow day after day, and it's not coming up. It's not coming up. You don't see nothing happening. We had to talk about that as well. But eventually it is going to grow.
And the thing about it is a lot of people don't even realize how much they affect the world. They're believing that their shortcomings and the things that they do is just affecting them and their immediate family or the people that, are where they're at immediately. But they don't realize that what you do goes out into the universe, and it affects everything and everyone.
So
even whether they're conscious of it or not. It's affecting them.
That's because we were never taught these things. We think that life is just what it is, and, thoughts come in our mind because no one ever taught us this. We had to go out on our own and find it. So now that we're learning all these things and recognizing how your thoughts and words and action create, maybe if we all have the same accord in mind and have the same things and stay focused on that, then we can create the results that we really, really want to see in the world. And you will receive those, and you can receive those results because those are your seeds that you're planting.
That's a good point. That's a good point. But I like what he was saying from what you were reading when he talked about responsibility, because actually that was my next point that I was going to make and highlight. Is the fact that we have to be responsible for our behavior, which is the same thing that he was saying. But in addition, we also have to be responsible for our own healing and growth. And a lot of us just don't get that. We don't understand that. You see what I'm saying? We believe that it's up to someone else. Oh, maybe if they didn't treat me like that, or maybe if they stopped doing this or stopped doing that to me, maybe, I'll act better, or I'll be better, or my life will be better. And
No, he brought something out about that, about the blaming and minimizing and denying or justifying, you know? Yeah.
That's a way those are the ways in which we exempt ourselves from responsibility. Because when you exempt yourself from responsibility, then that means that you don't have to change anything. It's everybody else's fault.
Exactly.
So, it just makes, you don't have to do anything but just complain. So they're taking the easy way out, but they don't realize that there is a responsibility on their shoulder, whether they're aware of it or not.
Right.
So this is huge, guys, because we grow up in a world where we're conditioned under certain circumstances. And a lot of times we come into this life with all kinds of problems and all kinds of issues in our family unit that surround us. And we look at it and we spend a long time, I should say, in blaming the situation, blaming the people we feel are responsible for our conditioning. And that's okay when you're a child, but what happens is when you become an adult and you're still stuck in the place of blaming, then there's a problem, because then you're not able to take any responsibility because you're blaming. So because of that, you cannot change, nor can you be the change that you wish to be in the world because of the fact that you are in the wrong place. From that place of blame, you cannot make any kinds of changes. So that's why I was saying the responsibility part is huge, because once you begin to take responsibility, you're like, okay, that was then, this is now. What am I doing now? Okay, I know this happened to me. I know they did that to me. But what about now? What is my responsibility?
Right. It's funny that you're saying that, because just, I think maybe yesterday, I was talking to a friend, and we were talking about that. You know how we say, we got trauma when we were younger, we had this, we grew up this way, that way, we're still carrying all of this. And how many times have we had in that conversations, hey, when you fall, do you just lay there and lay there and lay there, or do you get up and do something and you brush yourself off and, you leave that alone and you go on with your life? You understand?
I guess it's hard to.
So in a way, it's like, yes, you've gone through some things. You learned acceptance. You accepted, okay, this is what happened, but you know what? Now this is the new me. You can make another choice.
Right.
That was then. This when I was younger. Well, I'm grown now. Now I can understand that a little bit, or have some kind of understanding why this and that. You don't have to sit there and figure out the whole thing either. You just come to acceptance and say, okay, but you know what? I'm not there right now. I can turn this around. I can make a different choice.
And that's the hardest part, Nancy. That's the hardest part, because getting away from certain types of conditionings and moving yourself into a different place is a process. And let's talk about that a little bit, guys. In order to be that change that you wish to see in the world, you have to understand that in each moment you are creating something in the world. You are creating your life. You are creating your experiences. You are creating everything that you live. So from that place of knowledge, knowing that, understanding that, then you have to really, really start to see how, wait a minute, if I continue to stay in this place of focusing on what took place, what I didn't like that took place, then it's going to hold me in that pattern. And that's what we don't get. It holds you in a pattern. It continues to perpetuate itself because that's where your focus is. So what you focus on is what you continue to attract to yourself in your life. That's the key right there. That is huge right there if you get that. Because if you get that, then you are able to shift your focus and start to realize that, wait a minute, that's a total waste of time. I can do nothing about yesterday. I can't change other people, but I can change me, and I can change how I respond in this moment, and I can be the change that I wish to see in the world by using this situation, using this experience that really was not, an experience that was, it really hurt me. I was really bothered by it, but I can use it to learn something, and I can use it to move forward, and I can use it to make sure it never happens again to me. So then that brings us to our next point here. We spoke about it a few moments ago, which is the part that once you take responsibility, part of that responsibility is that you must develop yourself. And it kind of works like this. All of us, like I said, we come to this life with issues, with all kinds of things that happen to us. And because we are taking responsibility for our healing, we must understand that as we are cleaning up ourselves, it is our job and our duty and our obligation to help those around us. Because you're learning something from whatever you're experiencing. You're learning something. You're a lot wiser than you were when it was happening. There's some type of nuggets that you could share with someone so that they don't have to go through what you went through. It's called prevention, guys. So as you are cleaning yourself up, part of cleaning yourself up is sharing. And then you get in touch with the other side of you once you begin to do that. You start to recognize that, wait a minute, I have some skills here. I have some talents here. I have some abilities here. Then you're able to look at the world and see what is missing, what is needed, what services need to be provided, and you're able to say, wow, okay, I'm going to see what I'm good at and where I can employ my skills and my lessons learned, and I'm going to use it. I'm going to better the world by using it. Let me give you an example. I found out that the area that I would work in to help and better the world is consciousness and awareness. So like I said earlier, I help people to work on the inside. The inner dynamics of the mind and how it works and how it creates your world, that's my area. That's my area of focus. As you can see, if you look at all the topics that we've done on this show, wouldn't you agree that I found my niche? I found the area in which I know that I could make a change in? So the question I'm asking this evening, because I want to give you some homework, guys. I want you to walk away with something to do. Because we're talking about being the change that you wish to see in the world. But how can you be that change if you don't know the first step, if you don't know how to do that? This is why I was sharing my example of myself with you, to let you know that there is something that you are good at, something that you can share, something that you can use to help other people in some way, shape, or form. Where do you fit in the scheme of things? Where do you fit in? What are you good at? If you use what you have, how can you help to be a change where you live right now? Because if you start asking yourself those questions, guys, it becomes clear that all of us have something to do. There's so much to do, there shouldn't be one person that has nothing to do. So that's really the message here, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and invite you to speak with us. Maybe you have some questions or comments that you'd like to add to the show. We are talking about being the change that you wish to see in the world. Maybe you have some things that you do to better your community, to better your life, and that's going to really help to better the world. Because one person can make a difference. One person can make a difference. Look at Martin Luther King. Look at Gandhi. There are so many great people that they were one person. And I'm sure initially they thought of themselves like, wow, I'm just one person. And they didn't realize that they actually would have such a huge impact on the world. But look how they were able to shape the world and change things. So never, ever believe that you have nothing to share or that you being one person is not enough to make a change or make a difference in the world. So here's that calling number, guys. I want to talk to you. It's pretty quiet out there. I want to hear what you have to say here. 215-383-3903. That's 215-383-3903. Or maybe you have some examples. Maybe you know someone who's making a change in the world. Maybe you could share their story with us. Maybe you saw someone who's making a difference, and you were inspired by what you saw. And it's encouraging you to step up to make a change. Are there any examples?
I wanted to talk about like someone like Tony Robbins. You know, he wanted to make a change and a difference in the world. I'm sure many people are familiar with Tony Robbins. He's a motivational speaker. And I love to watch him and love to hear the stories. You know, he gave his own story, like where he came from, not having food, and, you know, someone invited him or gave him food for Thanksgiving or something like that. And that gave him the idea there's many other families out there without. And what did he do? He opened up like something like a food pantry or food drive or something, and it all started from there. So that's one way of making it. And
I'm sure he was surprised, Nancy, how it just turned into something really big.
Right, when you don't even think it's going to even go to that, but even small things like that, something small in your community. You know, I've seen a lot of big things happen in communities. They start out with something small. Even your smallest little preschool, that's something given back that you can help others for a small amount of pay, because we know what people make today. There is so many things opening up right in your area that you can probably talk about that you don't think that makes a change, but it does. You know,
look at the lady that started in Harlem. The lady that started in Harlem, where she took in children who were victims of AIDS because their parents had AIDS. And these were babies. And she took them, and she started her own daycare for children for babies who had AIDS. And they said her program is like, it's such a good program, and these children are really doing some amazing things because a lot of them have grown up, and they really, a lot of them went on to college and everything. And it was because she felt that she could give back, and she didn't have much. You know, sometimes you're thinking that you have to have something big to give, All she gave was love, and that's a huge thing. But, to other people, they're like, oh, well, she's just showing these babies love. What's that going to really do? But it started to change the community, because these children could have been abandoned and left out there with no one to care for them. And she stepped up to take care of them. And her giving them love helped them to blossom into great people. So, you're thinking that it's always something extremely huge that you have to give. And it's really not. Little things are really big things.
Yeah. And, I see it all the time, like in my community, the community where I work, and there's just so many ways, so many things. You talk about lost children, you talk about things in the hospital, all kinds of things, like you brought out,
There's so much to do, right, Nancy?
So there is. So like you said, we all have skills and abilities. We're all like, even if you help one person with an experience that you had, I deal with teenagers, and they come in there, and I give them everything that I can when I can, and when it's appropriate, actually,
Right.
So that if it can help them. I just had one student, I look at him and I said, you really want to graduate? He says, yes. So I says, okay. What are you going to do when you get out there? Because you come to school late, you don't, he got missing work and things like that. And I gave him the analogy of, okay, you got to make this like this is your work. If you come in late, what do you think they're going to do with you? Are you going to have a job? Are you going to keep a job? And the way I was talking to him, I said, anybody ever talk to you about any of these things that we're talking about? He said, no. Well, nobody's
He never
him.
thought about it, huh?
No, and parents, they think they're just going to school. It's such a big job to get up and go to school, And I try to motivate them and help them look and see, hey, you need to learn how to read. You need to learn how to write. You need this document, like you graduated. It's just amazing because no one is telling them. Parents are so busy, working and doing their own thing, trying to provide for the family, especially.
So look how you're making a change. Look how you were able to make a change with that one person, and you have no idea how many people he will help once he rises, So, Nancy just gave another example. Start where you're at, guys. That's the whole point that we're making here. Nancy, why don't you share with them about the workshops that we did when I used to do the workshops?
Yes, those workshops
Tell
were
them
very
a little bit about that.
Yeah, those workshops were really good in the community. Sherry started a workshop to help some of these, whoever really wanted to come in. She started out with
women.
Just empowering these women, empowering them, because a lot of them, I guess they were single moms too, right? Anyway, just
they were not necessarily from any particular background. It was just anyone who wanted to hear and wanted to come and have some place to vent or share ideas and exchange information. And, a lot of these women had, they needed to heal in a lot of different areas of their lives. They needed healing. And I just realized that, we're looking at this community and, if I've studied for many years metaphysics, and I knew that there was a whole lot of benefit in it. And I said to myself, no longer can I just sit still and not say anything to the people that I live around every day. I may not know them, but I don't have to know them. I feel that what I've learned and what I've studied has benefited me in my life. So because it's benefited me, why would I keep it to myself? So I wanted to share. So I started doing workshops with women in the community. Every other Saturday, we would come together for 4 hours, right, Nance?
Yeah.
And we would sit in a circle. I'd have refreshments in the background, make the background a nice, beautiful, background. We started with what we had, bought some refreshments and had some candles and some nice, beautiful music playing, nice ambiance, and set the stage. And had everyone sit in a circle because the science behind that is that knowledge flows 360 degrees, and we can learn from each other. And that was the whole idea behind it, that we can all help each other to heal and to grow. So, that was something that came from my mind because I understood that I had a responsibility to share what I learned, to share something that benefited me. Like Nancy was sharing the example about her in the school, helping the young man. She didn't keep it to herself. She saw he was wounded, and she helped. So those are some other examples, guys, that we're trying to give you so that you can understand that you start where you're at. And if something has benefited you in your life, share it.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what? It's great. You thinking that to me, I don't look at it like, something to boast about or anything like that. I just feel it's just the right thing to do because, like you said, that person is going to help the next person. And the biggest thing that I am sharing with these kids, or these students, I should say, is I tell them to read, pick up books, because I tell them all these games are not doing it for you guys because it's not. We know they're not. I said, you need to get familiar with your library. Go to the bookstore. I said, do you know you can go to any bookstore and just read the books and then put them right back? Pick anything you like.
Right.
That's
right.
And,
That's right.
and
read
just,
anything you want. Isn't that amazing that a lot of people don't take advantage of that?
Yeah. So I tell
you can
all
spend
my
your whole
students,
that's like one of my favorite pastimes, Nancy. Anyone that knows me, they know what's Sherry's favorite pastime. It's reading. And every chance I get, you'll find me in Barnes and Nobles. I buy most of the books that I can, but I will sit there the whole day and read. And it's a matter of, because a lot of people say, I don't want to read. I don't like reading. And I said, well, you obviously haven't found the right books to read. And that's really it. And I always find that I'm always correct when I say that.
That's right, because when something catches your interest, you want to know more.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Just like what we're sharing, for anyone, we all have some kind of tools. We all have skills and abilities. And that's it. Whether it's young, old, that you help, that whatever it is, you can make that change. And maybe it won't be recognized on a level where a lot of people are, that they make this thing where they come out and, where it turns out to be a big thing. But every little thing that we do helps. And that's what it's about, actually, love, What does God say, right? It's about love your neighbor, loving thyself, because they're going to share it with someone else. You don't know where that's going to drop.
Yeah, that's key right there, is loving yourself. That's why, we're sharing this information about reading. Become a reader, because until you discover who you are, and we did a show on that, guys. Maybe you're having difficulty with really understanding how you can make a change and how you can develop yourself and how you can heal. If you go to our archives, you see tons and tons of topics that can help you. We did the art of discovering who you are. That was a huge, huge show. A lot of people listened to that show and shared that information. Remember that one, Nancy?
Very good. So
there was another one.
No, go ahead.
Nancy.
I want you to finish. No, I want you to finish.
Yeah, I'm just sharing, just highlighting all the different shows that we did. Because sometimes you're telling people that they should do something, but they really don't know how. You know what I'm saying? So you have to help to guide them and point them in the right direction. That's the reason why I shared that show with you, because you may have difficulty right now understanding who you are and understanding your purpose in the world. And you may not really understand that you do have something to share. So that's a good place to start, guys, to get some ideas. What
right,
are you
and
going to say now?
No, I just wanted to throw a couple of things out there that sometimes, we're stuck. Maybe we're feeling low. Maybe we did something and we haven't forgotten. But we can choose, like you said, and we can do the changes in our lives, because you're really in control of what it is. We can't control anyone, but we can control our own actions. And then speaking about actions, without action, you aren't going to go anywhere. You got to do something. So you want to take the moment, like they say, all you got is this moment. So you want to take this moment, this present moment is perfect. This is the time to do it. It's now. So that's how you want to look at it. That's what I feel.
That's right. And think about it. If you really think about it, imagine if every single person that lives on this earth, every single person, imagine if all of them were committed to 100% excellence. Imagine how the world would change. Think about that, guys. Sometimes we don't think along those lines. But just think about it right now. Look at everything in the world. Look at all of the people. Close your eyes if you need to. And imagine if every single person was listening to this show and given information about how to be the change that they wish to see in the world, and really were given the tools that they needed by checking out the archives. Right, Nance? We have so many shows.
So many.
So many shows, so much information, that can point you in the right direction. Maybe I'll just highlight a few of them. I gave you one. I'll throw in a couple there just so that, it could spark your interest and really try to encourage you to go check them out. We did the Art of Creativity. That was 2 weeks ago. The Power of Inspiration. I'm going to go down the line here because we did some really, really deep ones. Overcoming Fear Through Understanding. Part 1 and 2. Belief versus Truth and Reality. We did Why You Should Forgive, the Consequences of Guilt. The Tragedy of Unfulfilled Desire, the Gift of Change. That's a good one, right, Nance? That goes with the topic this evening, the gift of change. Feel the fear, but do it anyway, because maybe you're afraid to step up to do something. Maybe you feel awkward and think it's a little strange. So maybe you need to listen to that show, Feel the Fear, but do it anyway. Maybe you need to understand the cause of suffering is attachment. That was another show that we did. Or the power of patience. Maybe you need to be patient with your progress. Be patient with yourself. Maybe you need to know about your life values and your personal compass. That was another show. Or maybe you are struggling right now for balance. That was another show. Maybe you don't know how to allow yourself to have the things that you want or to make the improvements in the world that you want to see. We did the Art of Allowing. Maybe you really went through some stuff and you're really, really hurting right now and you're really, really stuck. And you need to know about the power of letting go. That's another show, right, Nance? You remember that one?
Yes, yes. That was a good one.
And yeah. So what about the answer? What about answering the call of God? Maybe God is calling you to something. Maybe He is calling you to something. How will you answer that call? The fact that you are here means that He called you to do something. Maybe you're not clear yet, and you need to understand that understanding is a prelude for having wisdom. Maybe Maybe you don't know about where we're at in the world right now. We are in the age of enlightenment. All the information that you need to know, is available to you right now. One place you can go to, we talked about earlier, is the bookstore, right, Nance?
That's right.
And what about those excuses? Maybe you have a whole lot of excuses as to why you can't be the change that you wish to see in the world. Maybe you're blaming people still. Go listen to the show, No Room for Excuses. We did part 1 and 2. Or maybe you are not totally honest with yourself about what's really happening. Maybe you need to listen to Living a Life of Integrity. We did that, part 1 and 2. Or maybe you're in a situation right now where everything's just falling apart, and you don't feel that you can contribute anything to be the change that you wish to see in the world. Why don't you go check out part 1 and part 2 of When Things Fall Apart? So those are some of the things. I hope that we have given you a whole lot. You certainly have a whole lot to go check out, right, Nance? We have a whole lot of archives.
Oh, boy. Yeah, they're all really, really good talk. I mean, they really are. I don't know where you guys are going to get information like this.
You will definitely be equipped with what you need to be the change that you wish to see in the world. See, we didn't leave you without anything, guys. Because I know you were thinking about that earlier. How do I begin? Where do I start? What do you mean I have something to give to change the world? What is that? How do I figure out what that is? I gave you a whole lot of topics that you could go find out how. It's going to tell you the how, right, Nance? Didn't we get deep on a lot of them?
We did, and especially the last one on the creativity. What was it?
The Art of Creativity.
Yeah, the Art of Creativity. The first talk, or the first part was really, really like, wow, deep.
Right.
You know, it was really good. You got to check it out.
Yes. So we didn't leave you empty-handed, guys. Now you have a whole toolbox of information.
Mm-hmm.
And no longer can you talk about, I have nothing to share, and I don't know how to be the change that I wish to see in the world. Because now you are fully equipped.
That's right. And all you got to do is commit to yourself to want to do that. To be that
All you
change.
have to do is listen. Do you have ears to listen? Just listen.
And make a new choice today.
That's right. Make the time. Make the time. Say, I'm worth it. And yes, I definitely want to be a part of the change that I wish to see in the world. So I'm hoping that this information was helpful to you. Hoping that you got something from it and that you will share this information with your friends and your family. And I'm hoping that we inspired you to step up, to really, 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 really step up, to be the change that you wish to see in the world. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for your ears and your time. And that's all that we have for you this evening. And I'm hoping that you'll show up next week. We will be talking about next week. I'll give you the topic right now. Next week's topic is the power of solitude. The power of solitude. Don't miss that show. It's going to be a really, really good one, okay? So good night, everyone. And we'll talk to you next week. Same time at Mind, Body, and Soul Connections at 7 p.m. Take care.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Nan.
skydiving. This is amazing.
Yeah, but you know what else is amazing? An iPhone 6S for just $49 at Metro.
Really?
Imagine streaming all the way down with that amazing camera.
I'm switching. That's smart.
You know what else is smart? Parachutes.
Switch to Metro and get an amazing iPhone 6S for only $49. Metro by T-Mobile. Phone offer requires port-in of number not currently active on T-Mobile network or active on Metro in past 90 days. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Skydiving. This is amazing.
Yeah, but you know what else is amazing? An iPhone 6S for just $49 at Metro.
Really?
Imagine streaming all the way down with that amazing camera.
I'm switching. That's smart.
You know what else is smart? Parachutes.
Switch to Metro and get an amazing iPhone 6S for only $49. Metro by T-Mobile. Phone offer requires port-in of number not currently active on T-Mobile network or active on Metro in past 90 days. See store for details and terms and conditions.